this arm. I have plowed and I have planted and gathered into barns, and no man could best me. And ain't I a woman? I can work as much as a man and eat as much when I can get it. And bear the lash as well. And ain't I a woman? I have borne 13 children and seen most all sold off into slavery. And when I cried out with my mother's grief, none but Jesus heard me. And ain't I a woman?
Sojourner Truth, a former slave, was a woman known for her powerful words. As a leader who fought for women's rights, abolition, prison reform, and temperance, she knew that she had to capture the attention of the nation so that her voice could be heard. It all started in the 19th century when women realized that their rights were limited. They were known for their traditional roles that consisted of cooking and cleaning, but then they realized enough was enough. Women abolitionists raised money, collected signatures for anti-slavery petitions to Congress, as well as distribute literature.
A woman who knows chemistry enough to keep the pot boiling and geography enough to know the location of the different rooms in her house was considered educated enough. I am exhausted of people judging my knowledge, telling me that I am an educated woman. But if I were a man, they would tell me that I barely know anything. I must work in order to better the education for we women.
Look at them ladies, acting like they're going to be considered ace high since they get themselves an education. Next thing we're going to be teaching cows. I can't wait till they realize that they need to throw up their sponges and that they're acting like a fool.
From Ohio's Oberlin College, we go all the way to Canterbury, Connecticut, where the School for Girls was open. Prudence Crandall, a white Quaker, opened a school for girls in Canterbury, Connecticut. Two years after Crandall opened the School for Girls, she admitted a girl named Sarah Harris. The townspeople were angered when Sarah Harris was admitted, all because she was a black little girl.
No black. No black.
Since the townspeople were angered that she admitted Harris, Prudence Crandall started to only admit little African American girls. The white kids of the town were prohibited from going to school, which led the whole town to become really angry. Since Prudence Crandall only admitted blacks and not whites, she was forced to close the school. Although Prudence Crandall was arrested, she was forced to leave town and to never return again. Only after the Civil War did educational opportunities for black women continue to take place. Elizabeth Cady Stanton was a passionate woman, eager for reform. In 1840, she timed her marriage so that she and her husband could travel to London, where the world's anti-slavery convention was going to take place. Not only was she an avid abolitionist, but she was also a woman who was leading towards women's reform. Elizabeth believed that women deserved the same rights as men.
Elizabeth, wilt thou take this man to be thou wedded husband, to live together after God's ordinance in the holy state of matrimony? Wilt thou obey him so long as you both shall live?
Excuse me? Obey? Obey? I thought I was getting into an equal relation. I do.
And now pronounce you man and wife.
From Johnstown, New York, Elizabeth Cady Stanton and her husband traveled to London, England for the Anti-Slavery Convention. At the Anti-Slavery Convention, Elizabeth Cady Stanton was prohibited from participating. Therefore, she had to listen into the gallery. There she met Lucretia Mott.
You know what, Lucretia? We should vow to hold a convention when we return home, as well as form a society to advocate the rights of women.
Although male abolitionists discriminated against them at the World's Anti-Slavery Convention in 1840, 8 years later, the Seneca Falls Convention was created. Elizabeth and Lucretia fulfilled their vow. The Seneca Falls Convention was successful, considering that more than 300 women attended, and all parts of the Declaration were approved, including the right to vote. Political activity among middle-class white women was active, but for African American women, they struggled to find recognition for their own rights. Sojourner Truth proved arguments false. She proved that hard work was a fact of life for most women. As abolitionists intensified their attacks, pro-slavery advocates strengthened their defenses. Before long, the issue of slavery threatened to destroy the Union.